Hey, it's always great to be with you on the Lakers Report. And listen up and listen good. We don't do this often, so buckle up, dial it in. But it's an Ask Anything mailbag. We asked a couple of subscribers for their most pressing Lakers questions, and we have put together what I would deem as the best questions surrounding the purple and gold. And again, we don't do this often, but the next time we do, you want to be ready for it. So make sure you've subscribed to the channel so you don't miss the next Ask Anything mailbag on the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. So without further ado, let's get it going. And the first question coming in from Dank Memes asking you, or me, I should say, to call your shot. Name one player the Lakers should trade for at the deadline. All right, it's obviously trade deadline season. We are discussing who the Lakers should make a move for, and Hank here wants me to call my shot. So we've discussed a couple of potential point guards. Obviously, the Dejounte Murray. Earlier in trade deadline season, all the ruckus was about Zach LaVine, but I think that ship has sailed. And quite frankly, whoever gets Zach LaVine, yikes. I think he's more of a harm than a help, but that's just my opinion. So if I were to call my shot for who the purple and gold should go after, this might actually surprise some people because it's not Dejounte Murray. It is Collin Sexton from the Utah Jazz. And you might think, Riepma, you're crazy. But listen up, just hear me out on this. So we talked about Collin Sexton and the potential of him joining the Lakers a couple of shows ago. So if you missed it, go back and check it out. But the Utah Jazz have gone on quite the run since Sexton was implemented into the starting lineup in Utah. In fact, they're one of the better teams in the National Basketball Association since he's come on. Now, I'm not saying that type of success is just going to correlate over to the Lakers if Sexton is, in fact, one of the players that the Lakers make a move for. But it is worth considering if you add Sexton to the point guard position, the type of addition he can bring to a team that I believe could use a more consistent model at the point guard position. And no disrespect to D'Angelo Russell. I think he's served his purpose, if you will. But at the same time, I think the addition of Sexton would elevate this Lakers team and help them obtain those goals that I have for them, that you have for them, that every Lakers fan has, and that they believe that the Los Angeles Lakers can get to. Now, with all that said, I've given you my opinion. I want to hear from you. Shout them out in the comments. Who do you think the Lakers should trade for? Name someone. There's no wrong answer here. We're just having fun on an Ask Anything mailbag. So let me know down in the comments. Name someone who the Lakers should trade for. Maybe it's a little bit off the rails, or maybe you're like, hey, Dejounte Murray, that's the guy. Or maybe even though the ship seems to have sailed on Zach LaVine, that's somebody you've got your eye on as well. Now, this one from Selena. With the Lakers sitting around 500, do you believe they are true contenders to win the NBA title? Now, Selena, great question, but let's also note that would be their second title of the season. Can't forget about that in-season tournament title, right? I kid. Relax. Nobody yell at me in the comments. I'm just kidding around. That said, first ever in-season tournament, and the Lakers won it. But I really do think when it gets down into the nitty-gritty and you start thinking about what does it take to win an NBA title? And obviously, the championship pedigree that the Lakers have put together, led by LeBron, certainly has some experience in that sense. But in other cases, they might be lacking a little bit of postseason experience. So what is that all going to play out? I wish I had a crystal ball and could tell you exactly. But I do believe that this core nucleus of players certainly has the talent. And when playing their best basketball, we saw it in a couple of instances earlier this week against the Mavericks, a nice win at home there, against the Thunder, against two contending teams, some impressive wins at home. Now, again, looking in our crystal ball, what does this team playing its best basketball look like down the road? Well, I think Darvin Ham touched on a little bit with going back to the original starting five that this team started with, and that's yielded some success, bringing about that element of continuity, that chemistry on the floor, and clicking on all cylinders is so crucial to the success of any NBA team, but especially the Los Angeles Lakers. And because we've seen instances of it, we've seen a little bit of glimpses here and there of what this team is capable of, that, and being eternally optimistic, as I often am, that has me believing that, yes, they are capable of making a run. And anytime you've got the GOAT, LeBron James, sometimes it's as simple as that. And I don't care how old he is. He's still got enough gas left in the tank. And I'm getting fired up just thinking about it because the Los Angeles Lakers certainly have what it takes on the roster to make a run down the stretch and look at the person next to you and say, hey, this Lakers team has what it takes to win it all. So fire me up. Let's run through some brick walls and let's go win an NBA title. Selena, you probably weren't expecting that crazy of a response, but you understand. I get a little fired up talking about my team. The Lakers, I do believe, have what it takes. Now it becomes, in addition to the core nucleus, can the role players step up? Can every single component of this team be playing their best basketball, clicking on all cylinders, so that when the basketball games matter the most, they're putting their best foot forward? Now, I want to thank today's presenting sponsor, PrizePicks. And by now you know how to play PrizePicks, but just in case you're tuning in for the first time, I've got you covered. PrizePicks is far and away the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And for someone like me, it's the simplest way, which I appreciate. So you can kiss goodbye those Excel spreadsheets and the crazy algorithms that people use to try to predict picks correctly. No, say goodbye to that. With PrizePicks, you simply pick more or less on a player's projected stat line, and the fun begins from there. I've given you some picks in episodes past, but I'm going to let you get creative here on these with PrizePicks. Where you got to go? PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Because right at PrizePicks.com/CLNS, we're offering you up to a $100 deposit match. That's right, a $100 deposit match at PrizePicks.com/CLNS, and see for yourself. What I also love about PrizePicks is the flexibility. This time of year, PrizePicks is keeping it fresh with the Demons and Goblins. Demons are a little bit more difficult to win, but they pay out a little bit more. So you got to risk it to get the biscuit. You catch my drift? And with the Goblins, a little bit easier and more friendly those picks are, but they don't quite pay out as much. So you decide. Get creative with it. Have some fun. Either way, PrizePicks.com/CLNS. This one's coming in from Thomas Black. Thomas, thank you for the question. We appreciate it here on the Lakers Report. Dejounte Murray really the player the Lakers need? Is Dejounte Murray? And help if I could read. Listen, I gave you who I think might be a curveball coming into Los Angeles in Collin Sexton. And the asking price for Dejounte Murray being 2 first-round picks and obviously some players in addition to that just seems like a lot. And I know what he's done in Atlanta and playing alongside Trae Young. The proof might be in the pudding there, but I'm just not ready to mortgage the future for the Los Angeles Lakers at the risk of Murray not being that guy. And maybe that's playing it a little bit too safely, but if you rewind 2-3 minutes ago, I feel pretty good about this team and the core nucleus that this team has, as well as the role players being able to step up for the Los Angeles Lakers. Darvin Ham having this team playing their best basketball when it matters the most, and therefore, I don't necessarily think Dejounte Murray is really the player the Lakers need, because it's also a disruption to the cohesiveness and the chemistry of this organization. Can they acquire the talent of a player like Dejounte Murray without it taking the growing pains of gelling together? And really, nobody knows the exact answer to that question, but I tend to lean more cautiously than in wanting to risk it with the chemistry and the cohesiveness of this team. Now, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and as always, subscribe to the channel. If the Lakers make a move, we've got you covered on all angles, covering the purple and gold. If breaking news happens, we make a video, so make sure those notifications are set up as well. Subscribe to the channel. And we got another one to wrap it up. Will Rob Pelinka finally get this team a big man like Andre Drummond to help Anthony Davis out? It's a fair question because you look at some of the other big men for the Lakers, and statistically speaking, there hasn't been the level of support you would hope for a guy like Anthony Davis. But at the same time, with Anthony Davis being as ball dominant as he is, although he's getting very, very good at passing out of the block and things of that nature, I still don't necessarily think that's the direction this Lakers front office is going to go. Recently, there was a report that the Lakers very interested in changing things up at the point guard position, which would be obviously the total opposite of the big man. And so there's certainly a discussion to be had about both sides of it, but I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments, what is the Lakers' biggest need? If you think, hey, it's in the post, type B for big. But if you are like me and of the belief that it's more on the perimeter, go ahead and type G for guard. Either way, I want to hear from you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this edition of the Lakers Report. Shout out to producer Coop on the ones and twos, keeping us abreast on everything Lakers and purple and gold on this edition of the Lakers Report. All right, the last one. But really appreciate everybody tuning in. Love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to the channel. Subscribe to the Lakers Report because, as always, we'll keep you covered on every single angle. And we'll talk to you next time on the Lakers Report.